Welcome inside Hall of Fame. I'm Booker T, 6-time world champ, 2-time Hall of Famer. Got my man Brad Gilmore here with me. They call him the boat. And we about ready to float on here today on this lovely Monday evening. How you doing, man? How you doing?
Yo, I'm good. Yo, Book, I'm actually really good. But about, 15 minutes ago, the day just got a lot better. I'm going to be honest with you. The day got a lot. Not only was I going to get to talk to you, talk to the great Booker T, the 35-time champion.
Money's came in.
I mean, when money hits the account, it's always great. And, cats like you and I, money's hitting every day. That's just kind of people we are. But Bill O'Brien of the Houston Texans, the great stain on the city of Houston sports.
Come on, man. Don't come on.
Has now been erased. I'm not one to dance on a man's grave.
Don't throw all the blame on Bill O'Brien, okay?
A lot of it goes on him.
He's not the only one at fault. And the thing is, okay, we throw somebody else in there at the helm. You think we're going to have a better team? You think we're going to go to the Super Bowl?
No. But I think we have a better shot.
Me personally, I don't.
You like Bill O'Brien as a coach?
It's not that, man. It's not that. It's that I've been in this city, twice as long as you have.
Yes.
All right. I've been on this earth, twice as long as you.
That's true.
I've gotten a chance, and I've been here in this city my whole life. Okay. Right. So I've gotten a chance to see how the city works, literally how the city works. And that's what gives me, great pause about if the city is going to ever do anything as far as try to win, not slip on a banana peel and win, okay? Like the Rockets back in the day when we got Akeem Olajuwon. No one thought Akeem Olajuwon was going to turn out to be a mean, nasty African that was just going to go out there and wreck shop. They didn't think them boys was going to come together like that and go and win a championship. And then Michael Jordan came into play a whole lot in that era right there, as far as getting that second one. So my thing is, we slipped on banana peels. Not that we didn't have a great team back then, because I was riding, man. I was a coattail rider. Not that it's not that. It's just that the city has never invested in our team somewhat. Just say, for instance, like the Yankees. You know why the Yankees got so many banners hanging? You know why?
Why?
Because, man, they spent a whole lot of money.
I thought it was the pinstripes.
Oh, man. It's because they paid a whole lot of money to get the best players, man. That's one thing the Yankees always did back in the day.
Well, but here's the thing. Let me stop you.
As well as the best coaches.
Let me stop you, though. We had one of the best players in the game, DeAndre Hopkins. And Bill O'Brien traded him away for peanuts because he didn't like his baby mamas coming to the games.
Well, that's a personal issue.
Right.
That's a personal issue.
Hey. And what did EPMD say back in the day? Business, never personal.
I believe in that. I believe in
right.
I'm not saying that Bill O'Brien didn't make a mistake, trading one of the hottest receivers that ever played the game away. I don't agree with that. Right. You know what I mean? But I didn't agree with the city trading Warren Moon away. You know what I mean? For what we got. A player who came in for 1 year, got all the money. I think his name was Carr.
David Carr was our Texans QB.
No, who was it? What was his name? Can't think of his name right now, but it evades me.
Okay.
But what I do remember,
he was a QB for the Oilers.
Yeah, he was QB for the Oilers.
Pastorini?
No, he was after Pastorini.
Oh, okay.
And like I said, he was after Warren Moon. He took Warren Moon's spot, and Warren Moon was a hell of a player. Played in the Canadian League. I mean, took him to the Edmonton Oilers, to the game, to the big game. So he knew what it took to get to the big game. He was a hell of a player, and we got rid of Warren Moon for a guy and paid this guy all the money that Warren Moon was asking for, and this guy played one season and retired to never play another down. That right there just told me a whole lot about, spending money. I was here back in the day when, we had perhaps a championship football team, the Houston Oilers, and Earl Campbell was at the helm. And you know what their play options designs were? Earl to the left, Earl to the right, Earl up the middle. I'm serious. They ran this man like he was a human tank, and he broke him down to where now Earl is in, worse shape than most players who ever played that position. Come on,
but what you're saying though is because the city has a history of mismanagement of sports franchises that it's okay. It's okay to have a bad manager. It's okay to have a bad GM. No, you know what? Let Bill O'Brien be here forever. Go 0-4. Go 0-16. Who cares?
What I'm saying is, I'm glad we got rid of Bill O'Brien.
Okay.
But what I'm saying, it's almost like it's almost like when I talk about when my guys go out and wrestle and do their moves. I always say it's what you do before that move and what you do after that move is what makes that move. Now, with this situation right here, Bill O'Brien getting fired, what are we going to do after that move?
Well, yeah, now look.
That's the question. So now they're going to go get Petey Wheatstraw and see if he can hold that position. You know what I mean? Or somebody that we don't know, in other words. That's what I'm saying.
Look, throw some of those long McNair ducats as somebody from the college ranks like a Nick Saban or a Dabu Sweeney, somebody like that. Throw some long green over that way. Get us a quality coach who has leadership qualities.
I ain't trying to say this just because or anything, but there's a whole lot of brothers out there that's designed for that job.
Fine, 100%.
Step in there right now. Like a Tony Dungy. We need someone with some credibility.
Hey, Tony Dungy, by the way, great choice. That's a great pick. That's a great pick. I would love that.
And I ain't saying that just because, any other reason other than he's a guy that's got some clout. He's a guy that knows what it means to make it to the dance, and that's what this city has always done. We've always, the one guy that I kind of believed in and thought he was going to take this city somewhere was Kevin McHale. I say there's a guy who had clout. There's a guy who got some stroke. Let him do his job. You know what I mean? But I don't know.
I didn't mind Gary Kubiak either. I didn't mind Gary Kubiak, and you saw he subsequently won a Super Bowl after he left the city.
Kubiak, I didn't too much care about Kubiak either. He was the guy that.
But at least he was behind the guy who did it. Yeah. You know what I mean? He was there.
Yeah, that might be true, but he just did not seem like the guy. He didn't have that, what they call eye. You seen the Rocky movie, the eye of the tiger. You know what I mean? He didn't have that. You know what I mean? He always looked like he was just happy to be there. And I
well, you know what the thing is what you touched on. I'm actually really big on former players being coaches anyway. Some of the best coaches of all time have been former players because they understand the game the way that you can't just look in a textbook and understand it. Sure, can you get to a really good position and be that? Absolutely. But we see guys who've done it before, Bill Belichick, and the list goes on and on. However, somebody like a Tony Dungy or even somebody who's been on the gridiron and knows what it takes to win a championship. I think there are a lot of great candidates out there who could take this position. And right now, the problem with the Texans is you had lack of leadership and accountability. Bill O'Brien never thought that he was wrong. He always did it right. We lost the first 3 weeks. He said, I'm taking the playbook back. What happens? We get walloped when he had the playbook. That's why he got the pink slip this morning. We have a lack of accountability problem. We need a better leader. We need someone to get that back in get that locker room back in order, because after you trade away DeAndre Hopkins, man, my man Watson wasn't motivated to play. JJ said, I'm here to get my check and my endorsements.
Right?
You know what I mean?
I mean, yeah, and I could imagine, especially losing your main guy, the guy that you so I could definitely understand that. So, but it goes back to, like you say, leadership, man. It goes back to, who's the guy that's calling the shots, who's the guy that's going to pull the trigger, and then there again, who's the guy who's going to take all the blame for what's going on, because that's what it comes down to at the end of the day. And that's why these guys, boom, they take their firing and they go on, and what's crazy is somebody else going to hire him as an assistant. No,
he might have to go back to college ball. I don't know if anyone wants that stink on him.
Going to hire him as an assistant or a coordinator or something.
Maybe.
You know what I mean? Because it's all about X's and O's when it comes to the game. And that, like you say, there again, if you in, you know what I mean? Somebody's going to be willing to take a chance. That's just the way it is, man. It's just I hate to see our team suffering right now the way we are, man, because we are the only word that comes to mind is discombobulated when I watch them.
Just think about this, though. In the last year, our three main sports franchises, the Astros, the Rockets, and now the Texans, will have brand new head coaches. In the last year, Dusty Baker, D'Antoni's out, B.O.B.'s out, all new regime. There's hope in the future of Houston sports.
I don't know, man. It's like, for me, I believe in, just say, for instance, guys like yourself, young people. I believe in young people being able to get things done. All right. And more importantly, I believe in giving the young guys a shot more than anything. And take nothing away from, the Astros and bringing Dusty Baker in. I like Dusty Baker. But Dusty Baker, you just think about it. The younger guys that's on the team right now that's playing, they have to go back and look in the history books and understand what Dusty Baker did in the game. All right. He's been around that long.
Right.
And there again, not that they don't, respect Dusty Baker and everything that he's done, but the game is faster, is stronger, it's much more complicated than it was back in the Dusty Baker days. Okay. Now you ask me, you think Dusty Baker know how to play MLB on 2K5? I mean, on PS5.
I don't think he's ever touched it.
Exactly my point. That's what I'm talking about. You got to be able to connect with these young guys in order to be able to lead them properly. Not saying that, older guys can't do that as well, but I just feel like Dusty Baker, he's a great coach. He's a historian. He's a legend to the sport. But as far as a guy that's going to hit the field with my team and then, get out here and say, all right, guys, let's go to work. This is what we got to do. Dusty Baker got to get some younger assistant to actually get that done for him at the age that he. Don't get me wrong, guys out there. Don't take this like I'm hating on Dusty Baker or anything like that, because I'm not. But we got, guys, I'm running. I'm rambling. We got to take a break. Stick around. We'll be back in a minute. Welcome back inside the Hall of Fame. Yeah, man, I'm sorry, man. I ain't mean to get to rambling right there. And that's the thing, man. I just don't want people to think that I'm hating on Dusty Baker or anything like that. Just because the man has done so much for the business. I don't want someone to say, man, I don't want any stupidness to get started. But what I'm saying is, that's one thing that the regime always does, is always seem to go to the old guard. All right. They always seem to go to the old guard to seem like that's going to be the way out.
Right.
And I just figure, just coming up and seeing it the way I've seen it, I've tried to change my train of thought, and give young people a lot of respect to be able to have the job and handle it and prosper and be able to, move on to the next level. It's just like, our XFL team president,
Yes.
Young cat, in his 30s, but he was the president. Man, that made so many young people that saw that aspire to want to be in that position right there, as well as perhaps be him, because, they're still young enough, he's still not old enough, or he's still young enough to connect with that, young person So that's just the way I look at things, man. And hopefully Dusty Baker can take us to another championship. It looked like we're on our way. We're doing damn good. So we'll see at the end of the day.
Yeah. Don't get me wrong. I get what you're saying about having somebody young around, but also we need that experience. You know what I mean? We need to have that experience in the locker room, because we got to learn from guys like you, guys who've been there, done that, seen it all, done it all, won the title 6 times. We need that guidance, so we can't always release.
Exactly my point. So you hire him on, but it's like back in the day when Jimmy Hart came to me. He say, "Look, I'm not a manager. I'm just an advisor." Someone like Dusty Baker, you know what I'm saying? You make him
consultant.
Exactly, a consultant, right. An advisor, someone that's gonna be able to, checks and balances type of deal. So I'm not saying, don't get a brother a job. You know what I mean? But because it's all about jobs in this day and era. I'm serious. Oh man, but before we get started, man, before we get going too far here, man, we got a big show that's going to be going down Saturday, man. Reality Wrestling. It's gonna be an awesome show. 10,000 Emmett F. Lowry Expressway, Booker T. World's Gym Arena, right there in the parking lot. Be woke, guys. It's all about going out there and voting in the 2020 election. More importantly, getting people out to vote, letting them know how they can register, where they can vote is so important, especially in Texas. You know what I mean? Because I was just reading in Harris County, there's only one drop box in the whole county of Harris
for absentee ballots, right? Yeah,
that right there is just striking. So we definitely got to get people out there and especially the less fortunate, how you can get out there and vote, where you can get out there and vote, where you can, just be a part of having your voice heard in the election. I think is very, very important.
Do you remember the first time you ever voted?
Yeah, man. It was probably Bush won.
Okay, so Bush versus Clinton.
Yeah,
Bush Clinton.
Yeah,
What's crazy is, and tell me if you don't find this to be the case. I feel like
wait a minute. That's why I feel like I'm just as guilty as so many young people out there, because that wasn't that long ago. And I should have been able to get out there and do it even sooner. But there again, being young, and just not mature enough to understand what something like that really means and what people went through. Not understanding, but not really wholeheartedly feeling what they went through for us to have a chance, as blacks, to be able to participate in the process. I had to be educated just like everybody else. And there's so many young people out there, like I say, they need to have a cause to rally to. More than anything, they need to be motivated to actually get out there and say, "Hey, man, I'm all in." And that's what I feel like a show like we're going to be doing on Saturday. We've got so many young people, man, that just need to be educated. And I'm so glad I'm in that position to be able to talk to them and say, "Hey, man, just like the 99%, 100% rule, the 99%, you might want to just keep your mouth shut about it."
Right.
Man. It can get you in a whole lot of trouble, it can get you fired. But if you're 100%, you willing to get fired, but you right about it. 9 times out of 10, when you do it that way, they go, all right, they don't fire you. They go, all right, let's talk about this. Let's see exactly what we can compromise, whatever it may be. But I just think with young people, man, I appreciate the young people giving me a chance to work with them to actually get them to that level that hopefully that they, hope to get one day, because it's there. All you got to do is reach out and grab it.
Yeah, and I agree with you. What I was going to say too is I feel like I had the benefit of having older parents when I was younger, so they always stressed that importance to me to vote. But I never heard anything about it anywhere else, right? I never heard about it even in school or even on a college campus. When I turned 18 in school, or when I went to college for my freshman year, there was no talk of it ever, like zero, which I find nuts. because it's one of the most fundamental rights that we have as Americans, next to freedom of speech. And really, it is a form of freedom of speech. We're telling the people who we want to represent us in big government. And I don't think that it matters to you, Booker, or to me, particularly whom you're registering to vote for. But just in this particular instance, we need you to be registered, because it is one of those fundamental civil liberties that so many people fight for. Your grandfather, Naaman James, my grandfather, L.V. Hughes, fought both in World War II. They went for that specific purpose. And so, yeah, I think it's going to be awesome. And I saw, by the way, on the flyer, we're having a major, massive return to the ring.
Yeah, man. Abel Andrew Jackson, one of the Rose superstars, man, along with his manager, Politics, will be.
Wait, is Politics going to be there?
Politics will be in action as well. So it's gonna be an awesome deal to have Abel back running, for whatever it may be. I don't know what the brother running for, but maybe he'll tell you after the last 10 years or so. I'm still trying to figure out, but I'm looking forward to it.
He's run twice since I've been at Reality of Wrestling.
Yeah, exactly.
This will be his third run. So we'll see.
But it's gonna be awesome, man. We're gonna have vendors out there. We're gonna have people out there giving out all kind of information.
But did anyone ever put you on game of voting? Because I never heard about it in school or anything like that.
I grew into it, man. I think I just grew into growing up, and as a young person, occasionally I would watch the news, but as an adult, when you get kids, man, you watch it all the time, and you really get deep into politics, what's going on in the world, and right now, social media has opened it up to the point to where you can't not see it. It's right in your face, even if you're not even trying to look at it, it's right there. If you open your YouTube, you're going to come across something that interesting. You're going to click on it and go, wow. It wasn't like that, when I was growing up. So now I'm just more conscious more than anything, because I've lived a great life. I've lived a long life. I just think about the young people that's coming up today. And if you watch it on YouTube, I'm telling you right now, this kind of stuff, it doesn't just happen to black folks. It happened to white. It happened to Mexicans. It happened to all of them. So many every day. Of course, we get a lot of the press. But I'm going to tell you, some of the stuff I see on YouTube, it could be cops against cops. Mm-hmm. It could be the cops pulling over the DA. Guys, stick around. We'll be back in a minute. Welcome back inside the Hall of Fame, guys. Just talking about something, what's going on in the world. But guys, do come check that show out going down Saturday night. Drive-in show. We said the first 500 cars show up, they get in free. So if we get 500, that'll be great. If we get 200, that'll be great. If we get 100, it's going to be great. But we're just trying to motivate young people and everybody just to get out, have your voice heard, because this is an important election. 2020, man, it's been a crazy, crazy year.
Wild.
And I'm gonna tell you, it's been like a freaking, wild, mad, Bronco, I'm just trying to hold on, you know what I mean? But hey, man, but it's cool. It's cool. Hey, man. Also the Lakers, man. Lakers, they still ahead right now, 2-1. But I'm gonna tell you, man, the Heat,
scrappy team, man.
Yeah, them boys are just, like you say, scrappy. That boy Butler just, I tell you, man, he looked like a superstar game 3. He looked like a he looked like a bona fide superstar, other than the haircut. You know, the brother can ball, and at points, at times, LeBron James was just so frustrated, trying to, just hold him down, trying to put him in check. And he couldn't do it. He could not do it, man. So I don't know how that series is going to turn out. I don't know if the Lakers are going to come back and regroup. But right now, man, the Heat, big ups to the Heat, man, because I don't think after game 1 and 2, I don't think people thought it was going to, I thought it was going to be a sweep.
And, and with some of their key players out, be that Dragic and Bam Adebayo, they were both out with injury. And typically when that happens, 2 of your top guys from your starting rotation, you're not going to do so well, let alone come back and beat a team that has LeBron James and Anthony Davis and Rajon Rondo and so many more. So, Houston, Texas's own Jimmy Butler showed up and showed out, coming into the finals. I hope that they can make it competitive. My original prediction, remember, I said Lakers in 6. That's what I said. I said Lakers in 6. I would like to see the Heat take it in 7. So I'd like for them to come back. Let's tie it up. Let's make this interesting, because what do you always say? They want those dollars, those advertising dollars. A lot of people.
That's normally in the game leading up to the final. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You don't want to play around in the final, man. And the last game, when you go over the championship, when you try to get that ring on, if you can sweep, you know what I mean? That's what you want to do. You don't play around, because the check is going to be made, like checkmate. Not checkmate, checkmate. When you win a championship, you're a made man for forevermore. So I think that's the most important thing, and let that one slip away. I don't think the momentum has shifted or anything like that, because the Lakers, definitely, we've realized, being the Rockets, you might get a win and they totally adapt, come back and totally change the whole name of the game up, so you definitely got to, that team got a good coach, The
Lakers?
Lakers got a good coach. And the reason I say that is because, just implementing Dwight Howard at the right time.
Man, Dwight Howard's completely changed his narrative, in my opinion, with this season, right? He was unstoppable when he was with the Magic. Then he went to the Lakers that first time around with Kobe and Steve Nash. Didn't work out. He and Kobe didn't get along. God rest Kobe's soul. And then he comes to Houston. He and James got along for that first season. Afterward, not so much. And then he bounced from team to team to team to team, right? Atlanta, Charlotte, Washington. I mean, it was every single year he was on a different team. I think I'm forgetting one. And then for him to find a way back into the mix when Boogie Cousins goes down, they need a main. Who can we go to? Dwight Howard. That could be the guy. And LeBron James.
No, wait a minute. You remember what I said when Dwight Howard went to the Lakers? I don't know if you remember.
What'd you say?
I said this is the final bump in the road for Dwight Howard. If he don't do something here, he's done.
Yeah,
he's finished. I said this is the only team that can make Dwight Howard come out and play like this is a job and make this something real. Because if he doesn't do it here, with the Lakers on that team, with the firepower that they have, I tell you, man, it was it for him. And I said that Dwight Howard was the perfect guy for that team, and that was before I even thought about what Anthony Davis was going to do. But I'm telling you, man, that's what I thought about. The whole deal. But it takes someone like a good leader to know when to implement, hey, we need that gun right there, right now. Get over here, guys, and get it. That's what Dwight Howard is right now. He's that guy that he's a hell of a role player. He's a cheerleader on the side at the same time. So I like, what they have put together, especially with Dwight Howard being born. And the thing is, because I like Dwight Howard, he's a big fan of mine. I like he's a kid at heart. But now,
friend of the show.
But seem like on this team, he's grown into being a man. I got to give him props. I don't look at him as a kid playing for that team, other than being on the sideline and being so happy. Other than that, yeah. Because I told you remember I talked to him. I said, man, Why are you so happy all the time, man? Even when you're losing, there's a smile on your face. You know what I mean? Do you look at this as a job or a game? He said, I look at it as a game. I'm like, that's the wrong, sentiment. That had all the great players, they came to go to war.
Right. And you know what? I think that he's benefited more than even great coaching is having LeBron James. LeBron James, he's not going to let you sit around and play around, right? Yeah. He's one of the greatest players in the history of this game. I don't know why he gets the amount of hate that he does, because he is so dominant that it's almost silly to hate on the guy. But I think with his leadership, he's been able to mold Dwight Howard. Yeah. And Dwight Howard also knew, like you said, this is my last opportunity. I blow it here, I'm going to be playing in Europe next season.
Yeah.
Or I'm going to be retired. Right? Because Dwight, whether he likes to admit it or not, he had the stink on him. Right? He really did. He rubbed a lot of people the wrong way. And when guys like Charles Barkley and Shaquille O'Neal and Kenny Smith you're a constant topic of conversation between those guys, it's not because they don't see greatness in you. It's because they see that greatness and they're like, where is this guy? Yeah. Now, when he comes up on that show, they're saying, Dwight Howard, this is the guy. This is the guy that we wanted him to be since 2010 when they made the finals.
And just think, man, how many years that Dwight Howard really lost not coming out and thinking the way he's thinking right now. And the thing is, I wish I could do it. I'm gonna try to, see if I can hook up another interview with him, because I can almost imagine, even in this short amount of time from that interview to now, that he probably thinks a whole lot different. Yeah, and the thing is, you start thinking differently too, especially when the clock is ticking, when the clock is running, when when that hourglass is turned up and you see the sand running out and it gets getting closer to the end. If your life is on the line, you are very, very worried, and that's where Dwight Howard is. His career life is on the line. And
absolutely.
And the thing is, I'm still relatively a young man, and I can still do this. So, and it's a lot of guys that been in that position too that could still do it, that they said, nah, man, we done with you just because of something. And Dwight Howard, hopefully, he's gotten past that. Hopefully the Lakers being around someone like LeBron, giving you a pat on the back and say, man, we appreciate your time. We appreciate your love. It makes him feel a certain way about wanting to come to work, because, Rihanna said that. Work.
Well, I think when Dwight gets that ring on his finger, courtesy of LeBron James and the Los Angeles Lakers, most likely anything can happen. He's got to really look at this whole game different. And the thing is, shout out to him, because he went from being a star and a sought-after free agent to being bounced from team to team to team to coming off the bench. And a lot of guys cannot adapt to that. They are not the utility player, right? You were somebody in your role in professional wrestling. You were able to be put in any position, understand that position, and elevate wherever you were on the card, right? Whether that was the opening match, middle match, main event. You did it all. You held championships at every level, and you were able to elevate whoever you were there with. For someone like Dwight Howard, that's a reality shock that there's going to be a starting center over me. I'm Superman. I'm Dwight Howard. It's the reason why he's been successful. It's also the reason why Carmelo wasn't successful in Houston or Oklahoma City, but now he's finally embraced that role in Portland, and why he's being successful, and he's an addition to the team. Once you can accept your role in the later stage of your career and play it, you're going to have and find success. And I think that Dwight, I'm happy for Dwight. I really am.
Yeah, I mean, I'm happy for him too, because I really believe that Dwight Howard has finally found his place, especially being on a team. It's hard when especially a guy like Dwight Howard, who is so special and looked at in a certain way. You are automatically the team captain, and that right there, it comes with a certain, role. It comes with a certain something you got to have to be the leader of that team, and that's where playing the game and being a job, those two are going to contradict with each other. If you're the leader on that team, because when you're the leader, you got to snatch somebody by his collar sometime and say, "Look, bro, hey guys, stick around. You're in the Hall of Fame. We'll be back in a minute." Hey, what's up, guys? It's Booker T, 6-time world champ, 2-time Hall of Famer, and this is for all up-and-coming professional wrestlers, male and female. You want to know the ins and outs, the do's and don'ts. You got a question, I got the answer. If you want to know how, join my masterclass. Go to realityofwrestling.com for all the information. Starting on Thursday and every Thursday after that, guys. Don't miss out. Don't get shut out. And I know you can dig that.
The Academy.
Welcome back inside the Hall of Fame, guys. I just want y'all to know, man, that last comment I said, snatching. I ain't talking about like Bobby Knight or nothing like that. All right. I'm just talking about pull him in and say, hey, bro, come on, man. We can't be doing that. I ain't saying choke him or nothing like that. Okay.
Okay. I think we understand. Hey,
okay.
You know what? I was thinking about it and I said, I'm not even going to bring this up because it's really not worth our time, money, effort, and energy. However, I am not going to sit back and let this show and yourself's name be run through the mud.
What are you talking about?
Look, over the last several weeks, we've had a tiff, a beef, if you will, with another show who's on ESPN. But there's two gentlemen. One goes by the name of Daniel Cormier, who I have a lot of respect for, a former UFC heavyweight champion, light heavyweight champion, one of the greater fighters in the history of the sport. And the other guy is what I thought was a friend of the show, in Ariel Helwani,
a guy who's nothing but a coattail rider, a guy who's never done anything physical in his life. Working out at a gym. Just say, for instance, we know the last time we seen Ariel Helwani in the gym filming something with somebody talking about something that he's never done. So we know all about Ariel Helwani, a guy who's never won nothing more than a pie eating contest. And the thing is,
that actually might be a struggle for him.
Perhaps, but Ariel Helwani, what you got? What did you talk about?
Well, what I was going to say is, but last week on this show, we did address some of his comments, Ariel's on the Pat McAfee show, on their show, DC and Helwani, where they actually played a clip of this show. So we went back and forth, and then I was listening to their show today because I like their show. You know what I mean? I want insight. I like to hear from a future Hall of Famer and Daniel Cormier about the sport of mixed martial arts, and I heard them still talking a little smack. You know what I mean? Especially about you and about how you. Well, you know what? Let me just play it. I have a clip. I want you to hear this. This is Daniel Cormier. And I mean, look at Daniel's face. He's just happy.
Look at that.
Look at Ariel. Anyway, here's the clip of these two guys discussing you and this show today on DC and Helwani from ESPN Plus.
I can't hear it.
Oh, you can't hear it? No. Hold on. Let me share it with sound. I'm sorry.
Yeah, there we go. I mean, work it out, because I want to hear what he got to say.
Let me share it. Hold on. Give me 1 second. I'll share that back. I had to hit with sound. Okay, here we go. Share audio.
Go for it.
Okay, sorry. Let me run that back real quick. This is them talking. Can you hear it now?
We had we had Connor respond. We had John Jones respond. You know who was conspicuous by his absence? Who? I didn't hear any response. I didn't see anything. Mr. Harlem Cold himself.
Oh yeah.
So is that over? Is book? Over. I mean, is that? Are we just moving on to?
He tucked his tail. He tucked his tail.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure.
It's over, bro. It's over. Like we can't now. At this point, it's almost like us picking on somebody. It's over. Like
old guy.
He tucked his tail. Look at me. I'm 55 years old and I'm in tip-top shape. I got my boxing gloves on, my MMA gloves, my weightlifting gloves. Look at me.
He oiled himself up.
oil. Like, it's over, bro. We can't be picking on these dudes.
I just want to make sure. It's over.
It's over. It's
Okay.
over.
He went from Harlem lukewarm to just Harlem cold at this point. Like now he's just he's Harlem stale.
He's ready. Hey, Booker T, look at me. He probably on the golf course somewhere enjoying retirement.
Okay.
He's not that guy no more. You know? Yeah,
okay,
it's over. Can we please let him go? Can we let him go?
No, I just wanted to make sure. Okay, cool. All
right. So that was what they said today, and so they said that you weren't speaking up, you weren't talking. I know that you were talking.
This is the thing right here. They talking about me and my gloves and me getting ready to work. I don't see Daniel Cormier taking his shirt off. I mean, he's got a flannel shirt on right now, and it's probably 80 degrees, and he got it buttoned up to his neck. Are you kidding me? I mean, look at Ariel.
That actually looks like a sports polo, but continue.
Whatever it was. And Ariel, look at these guys. They're talking about their ESPN, talking about how high class. Did you see that set? It looked like they just sitting in the basement with a spotlight on them or something. But it doesn't look that professional to me. I mean, this is the Hall of Fame. This is a real show. This is what people get real content. We ain't kissing nobody's behind on this show. We ain't trying to bring in guests like Daniel Cormier. And if they don't like what we say, we got to bow down like him. I mean, Conor McGregor made Ariel Helwani look like a little girl, 10-year-old little girl at that. I mean, Ariel Helwani was literally shaking in his Vans, asking the questions to Conor McGregor. And I'm like, look, bro, this is real. This is real talk right here. If you got something to say to me, you can say it in person or you can say it on Zoom. But I challenge, you know what? I challenge Daniel Cormier since he's talking now. I challenged Daniel Cormier to get in the gym and work out with me, and he wouldn't hang 2 seconds. All right. No, you know what? I'm gonna give him 15 minutes. And the thing is, he couldn't match me pound for pound in any form of the gym other than probably MMA. But as far as working out as far as, somebody staying in shape and can take their shirt off because the ladies love it. You know what I mean? They love when they can look at a real man and say, oh my God, good God, look at that. That's what they say when I take my shirt off. Still now at 55, Daniel Cormier, I challenge you for, we could do it on Zoom, to a shirtless contest.
A shirtless contest?
A shirtless contest just to show the world who's who and who's the real man as far as that go. Now, as far as, is it over? It ain't over. The party's not over. It ain't over till I say it's over. Like I say, step inside the Hall of Fame. Get your feet wet for a second. Let somebody ask you some real questions, not somebody that's going to be, perhaps in the Vince McMahon's Kiss My Ass Club, okay? We don't want anybody like that. We want somebody that's going to step up and be real. And if you got something to say to me about it, say it to me right here inside the Hall of Fame, ESPN Radio, where we got a real backdrop and not some spotlight. Look at here, man. Look at that. You see that?
Blacks.
You see that?
Blacks.
See that?
Blacks.
All real right there. Let's see exactly what you got other than some fake award that somebody that has given you because you're the only one that's kissing ass in the business. Now, let's move. You got anything to say?
Now, are you done now?
I'm done.
All right. I think that we can move on.
I want Daniel Cormier, Ariel Helwani. I hope that's enough for you.
The thing is, I still got love. Here's the thing. I think that you should really make Booker T look at me shirts. I kind of like that catchphrase. I kind of like Booker T look at me. But I still got love for Daniel Cormier. Ariel Helwani. Look, Ariel. You know what? You said it all. I don't need to go off.
You got to go off. Chats, man. Let's get that.
We do. That's what I want to get. We got to get to the people who spit it real. And I want to go to my man Aaron C. Aaron C. was talking about. Question for you, Booker. How was Kevin Nash to work with? Big Daddy Cool, Diesel, Big Sexy. How was he?
Man, he's all business, man. I learned a lot from Big Kev from the business standpoint because Kev always knew the inside to, the dollar bill and who was making it and how it was being made, as well as he was one of those guys that I learned from that worked at the top of the card. And when you work at the top of the card, you got, a whole lot of say-so to be able to do certain things just because you are a draw. And I learned that when those guys came to WCW, when they got those big contracts and a lot of times in those contracts back then, when those guys were coming over, they had creative control. And I was like, man, how do you get that? You know what I mean? When you can just call your own shot, so I was like, yeah, man, Big Kev, as well as Main Event Mafia, him and I came back to the Rumble, 2013. I was not 2011. Yeah. So my thing is, man, it's been a hell of a ride working with Big Kev. Always a good friend. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that Kevin Nash too, more than anything, is when he walked out, he looked like a megastar, right? And he's 7 foot tall, jacked, 300 pounds, a lot of charisma. Yeah. I'm sure that gives you something to work with, especially when he was working as a heel. I think that as a babyface, that's like a dream, right? Someone who's charismatic, athletic, big, jacked. That's probably a really good dance partner.
Like me, unlike Daniel Cormier, unlike Ariel 180, I mean, come on. Ariel 180. And the thing is, Ariel 180, let me get back to this for a second before I take a break. He's just trying to come up. You know what I mean? Like I told him, he may not have heard it, but like I said, I live in a mansion, okay? I paid my dues in the business to become who I am. I deserve respect. You know what? If I don't deserve respect, who does? All right? And if I don't get it, I'm going to take it one way or the other. Ariel 180, Daniel Cormier, get some, want some, but you better be bad enough to take some because it's going to be on. It's going to be on soon as you step. And you know what? We don't want Ariel 180 in the Hall of Fame. We only want you, DC. We want to ask you the tough questions. All right. We want to get inside your head and see exactly what Daniel Cormier is really all about, or if he's just trying to find a ticket to ride in the WWE. It ain't going to happen, sucker. It ain't going to happen. Stick around. You're in the Hall of Fame.
The Academy.
Welcome inside the Hall of Fame. Welcome back anyway. Bradley, man, you see I'm getting hot, man. I'm getting hot.
I know. I was about to tell you, you need to settle down.
And the thing is, I'm not even drinking any Juan Valdez right now. You know what I mean? No Red Bull or anything like that, 5-hour energy or anything. I'm just crunk. I just feel like I'm ready to, do something. And the thing is, I hate getting to that point right there. Charmel always have to tell me, baby, calm down. So I'm a chill right now. What you got, man?
I mean, people, never mind. I was about to say something I shouldn't. Anyway, I wanted to ask you a couple things. Some stuff has been going down in the world of wrestling, boxing, MMA. We're already through the first hour. I feel like we should get into some of that. Last night, NXT TakeOver 31 from the brand new Capitol Wrestling Center, the redone Performance Center. I got to say, it looks pretty awesome the way that they've done it. There's a hybrid mixture of virtual fans as well as some real fans inside the building. I don't know if those are NXT trainees or actual fans. I didn't really get clarification on that, but nevertheless, it sounded and looked great. Did you see the unveiling of the Capitol Wrestling Center?
Yeah, man. I mean, it's a great concept. It's a great concept. And I was reading some quotes from Triple H where he was talking about it's almost like taking wrestling back to the 50s with a hybrid feel to it. And I was like, all right, that's pretty cool. And wrestling is never going to be too far away from, what it has always been. And I think sometimes we try to put way too much in it, which that's just evolution. That's just moving to the next level. That's in every sport, every genre. Want to do it a little bit better than the last. That's just part of it.
Mm-hmm.
But, I think just like the power wrestling, power pro wrestling, what they're doing it is NWA is in a studio. It seems like it got a old school feel, like watching Saturday morning wrestling back in the day where they was doing it from the studio.
Yeah.
And
the old show, World Championship Wrestling. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, yeah. It was WCW.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. When it first got kicked off, they were doing it in the studio. And I was like, man, it was so awesome because the guys would finish working. They would go right off to the side, cut a promo right there, had a live studio audience, people booing like crazy. It sounded so awesome and so raw and so real. I love that part of wrestling. And I think that's something today that could still, work just because it's up close and personal with the fans. I think it's something that's going to work, especially right now with what we're going through with, COVID-19.
Yeah, I think Triple H, hitting on a couple things you just did. He's such a wrestling fan. If you read into his story, he's been a fan since he was a child, like a little kid. So I think a lot of things he thinks about, what did I love about those studio shows? What did I love when I was a kid? Or no, what did I love when I was a kid? I love those studio shows, how you could be right there, small, intimate venue. And he created a lot of great matches and environment last night. I was thinking when I saw this, because this is in the Performance Center, man, doesn't WWE, I'm sure that they wish they had all these ideas all those months ago when they had WrestleMania. You remember the first time they did the show from the Performance Center, the hard camera was different. They had a row of just empty chairs there. It didn't really look right, but they had to, produce on the fly. But can you imagine how great WrestleMania would have looked from the Thunderdome or from the Capitol Wrestling Center now? I think it would have been such a different vibe. And I know, I'm just hindsight's 2020, but it would have been great to have that on deck and have it figured out. Did you get to watch much of TakeOver? Because there were some really great matches, but more so than that, there were some really great moments. They had been teasing a former NXT champion was going to return to the WWE, to the NXT. And we were all trying to speculate who it was. Now, I don't know if you saw this. The internet consensus was it was Bo Dallas. Everybody was convinced it was going to be Bo Dallas was going to be the NXT champion coming back to NXT. I don't know why, but Bo Leave was trending on Twitter. Bo Leave was trending on Twitter. So everybody thought it was going to be him, and it wasn't even a man at all. It was a former NXT women's champion and somebody who's a friend of this show and a friend of yours, a former student of yours. Ember Moon is back. Ember Moon is back in the WWE. She's a part of the NXT roster. What do you think of this return for her and return to NXT?
Well, I'm glad she's back. First and foremost, it's touch and go with her, coming back or how soon she was going to come back or if she was going to come back there for a minute. She was really worried about that. I talked to her, I don't know, a month and a half ago or so, and she was telling me that she was in the ring working out. And I was talking to her, I was like, how does it feel, man? She was like, oh, man, I'm a little unsteady right now, So she was, just getting the feel back in the legs. And I know she's been like waiting to get back, just like excited to get back. And then, to come back the way she did. I love the Road Warrior feel to, what was going on. That's what I took away from it.
How so?
Well,
just kind of the appearance of it.
Yeah, not the Road Warriors, but the movie.
Oh, Mad Max.
Yeah,
okay.
Exactly. It had that feel to it. She had the clothes on. She had the shaved head on one side, the wig hair, the motorcycle, the green lights. It had Mad Max, Thunderdome type feel.
Right.
Kind of Tina Turner. She actually looked kind of like Tina Turner when she played that role beyond Thunderdome. So that's what kind of I took away from it. I was like, wow, it was really, really cool. The build up, the walk, the reveal. And I was like, wow, she's back. I'm just anticipating on watching Ember get back in the ring and see if she can, recreate the magic, all over again, because I'm sure it's something that she's wondering in her head as well is, man, can I go out here and recreate it, create that magic, one more time. So it's got to be in her head. And, but the thing is, she's going to be able to pull it off. She's going to find herself in that position where the lights are on, they're going to be bright. And when that adrenaline starts flowing, you're just like, oh man, I got to get out here and get it done. So I just can't wait to see that, man. Seriously.
Yeah, it was great to see her back, because when you did that one-on-one interview with her several months ago, it may have been 8-9 months ago. It was up in the air as to what her injury was going to allow her to do as far as getting back into the ring. And we even saw her, it hadn't been pre-pandemic, but maybe January or February of this year, she was down at the World Gym Arena working with some of her students on one of those ladies' night out shows, and she was still in the boot. She was still having a hard time moving around. And then I can't remember one of the most emotional segments of WWE backstage, where she really thought that might have been a wrap for her career,
Yeah.
And she almost seemed like she was in that mentality of this is it. And to see her make that transition and come back and now be back not just on WWE roster, but be back in NXT, where she made her bones, right? You and I were both there the night that she won that NXT championship at War Games in the Toyota Center and really set her career off. We didn't really get to see the same Ember Moon on the main roster, because when you get there, there's TV, it's so convoluted. There's so many stars up there. Sometimes you get lost in the shuffle. I think coming back right now, this is the best time that she can do it. And then to go up against someone like Io Shirai, if that is the matchup they have,
man,
that's the match.
What impressed me most about this whole thing is the time frame, man, the immaculate return. I mean, this is totally unexpected for me, because she had an Achilles tear that was torn completely off the bone. All right. And so that right there normally takes, a little bit of time to heal, and then a little bit more time to rehab, and then to get your feet under you. It seemed like wow. So she definitely had a speedy recovery, and I just hope that she gets back in there and there again is able to do it at 100%. Just like the Ember Moon of old. Bring the noise, man. Bring the noise. But I'm looking forward to it. Hey, let's get to this one super chat before.
Yeah, I was about to pull it up right here. This is from Aaron C., one of our faithfuls. Book, what made you get into wrestling?
Money, baby. The money. It's all about the money, man. I was a kid, man. South Park, Texas, here in Houston. There again, man, I didn't like school, man. I was like, man, that just wasn't my thing. I found myself in a position where I was in life trying to figure out what I was going to do. And my brother, thank God, he was a big wrestling nut as a kid, and found himself, about to get into the wrestling business. And I just happened to be in a place to where, my brother asked me if I wanted to do it as well. But I didn't have the money. And the guy that I was working for sponsored me to go to the wrestling school. And man, from that day on, it seemed like life turned around for me. It seemed like deja vu. It seemed like a world that I had been in my whole life, but had never been. And I was like, wow. Got into the wrestling business, and in 1990, and then in 1992, I was in the WCW, and boom, the rest was history. It's crazy, man. It doesn't
so crazy how quick.
It doesn't normally happen for people like that. They get in, and next thing you know, they get the rocket put on them, and next thing you know, they go straight to the moon. But 2 years in, man, my brother and I got a shot in WCW, and I've been in a major company ever since. So it's been an awesome ride, man. But Aaron C., we appreciate the super chat, man. We appreciate your support and what we do here inside the Hall of Fame, man. Trust me, it will be to good use, man, trying to help people as far as just trying to do our part. I always say, just do your part, man. I always ask the man, just give me a chance to finish my work. So Aaron, you're a part of me finishing my work. So guys, stick around. We'll be back in a minute. Welcome back inside the Hall of Fame, guys. Talking wrestling right now. News that's going around right now. We know RVD, good friend of mine, is no longer with Impact Wrestling, and the word is going around that he may return to the WWE. What do you think about that, man? What do you think about RVD making a return to WWE? Or do you just think this is white noise people are putting out there since RVD is now a free agent from Impact Wrestling, along with the lovely Katie Forbes?
Yeah, RVD and WWE. Well, it depends on what he wants to do, right? We were talking about Dwight Howard, and Dwight coming to the Lakers. He understood his role, right? That I am not the starter anymore. I'm a utility guy. I'm going to be put in where I'm needed. And that's kind of what RVD did the last time he was in WWE. I remember he worked the world title program with Alberto Del Rio. They put, what was his name? Ricardo Rodriguez with him as his mouthpiece and manager, which was kind of an odd fit. He was only in for about 3 months. It wasn't what I was expecting when RVD was coming back. So this time I feel like now 5 years has gone by, maybe 6.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
It's been a while. I feel like he would be in a slightly lesser role just because of the wealth of talent they have right now. Can you use an RVD? Sure, absolutely. But I feel like he'd kind of be more in that realm of what Kurt was in his last run with the company. You're going to be working with the mid to upper card guys and trying to get the next generation over. So if RVD wants to do that, I think that he'd be a benefit to the company and to the roster. I personally think he makes more sense at this point in his career in AEW. I feel like him and Katie Forbes, if they want to continue this package that they have, I'm not sure Katie is really the fit right now as far as her in-ring abilities with WWE. I haven't seen a lot of her stuff lately, so I could be wrong in that. But just them as a package, I wouldn't see them together in WWE. They'd probably be apart. So if they want to continue that act, I could see them continuing it in something like AEW.
You think WWE hires Katie Forbes?
I don't know, to be honest with you. I really don't know. I haven't ever seen a recent match.
She got a mean scissor kick.
Does she?
Yeah.
I haven't. I'm being honest. I'm being totally transparent. I haven't seen a match of hers in years. So last time I saw her was on WoW, I believe.
Yeah. Yeah.
So she could be different from the last time I saw her. So I don't really have an educated opinion on that. The last thing that I saw, I don't know if her in-ring abilities would match the level of the roster, especially in NXT or WWE right now. But that I could be wrong. Yeah. But I think that them as a package, I could see them like versus Kip Sabian and Penelope Ford. I mean, that could be a little rivalry they have in AEW. I think that he makes more sense there if they want to be a package, right? Or what do you think?
You know what, man? I think I don't know. It's hard to judge. How people think these days because we're in a different stratosphere as far as wrestling goes, especially with AEW being something new, something fresh, something that's going to be moving into the future. Somewhat like UFC started 20 years ago, and now it's something that's just a household name. It's regular, but when you've been in the business like an RVD, you don't want to wait for 20 years for all that to happen. You know what I mean? You want to be a part of something. It's kind of like you want to go home and finish the career out a certain way and walk away from it and say, man, it was cool. And then, make a run, one last run, I think, in the WWE is very important for RVD's career. I think he may not think that, but I would think to finish it because, the Hall of Fame, may mean nothing to a lot of people, but to get a chance to thank the fans in front of thousands of people, in front of just a few, is something special. Okay, don't think about the ring or anything like that. Don't think about, the title or anything like that. But think about how much time you put into the business and to walk away from it, not being able to thank the fans is almost like a member of your family getting COVID and you never get a chance to say goodbye.
Yeah.
That's the way I looked at me walking and down there, out there and at the Hall of Fame and saying, man, I thank the fans. I think my wife, for, helping me along that ride. A lot of the guys who, facilitated me getting to that next level. To thank those guys publicly is something that you may only get a chance to do once. And if you get a chance to do it in front of a platform like WWE, guys can say what the hell they want to say, but I think that's the ultimate way to go out.
That I don't disagree with, but I still think as a package, because he and Katie Force were trying something different out in TNA or in Impact Wrestling, excuse me. And RVD was playing a little bit more of the heel side of it. If he comes back to WWE, they're going to want him to be the RVD that we saw, for all those years, the one that fans will remember. So if he doesn't want to do that, I don't fault him for that. If he wants to, see what else is out there. I think that he's still a benefit, though. He's still got some juice in the tank, right? He's still got a little roll in that thunder. You know what I mean? So we got to see if he can, if he comes back. I would like it. Obviously, I'm an RVD fan.
What the fans think, man? What do fans think? As far as RVD,
yeah, y'all weigh in. Y'all weigh in. Should RVD go to WWE or AEW or just go the independent route? While we wait on those questions, Aaron C is back again with a couple of them. He just said, "Dumb question. I know. Are the belts heavy?" so I guess the title belts, are they heavy?
You know what?
Some of them are.
World title in WCW it was heavy enough when you put it around your waist. You felt the weight of it, but it didn't affect you or anything like that. But we did have a guy to make a belt for Reality of Wrestling once. It felt like maybe 5 cast iron skillets, all meshed together. I mean, that thing was so heavy. That
thing was so heavy.
To put a weight belt on and gloves to pick it up. That's how heavy it was. But,
that was one of the funniest things ever because it was so, and it was massive.
It was a beautiful belt too. Wasn't it?
Oh, it looks great. Yeah, I mean, look, it's our television championship. The one that you see now is a smaller version of what that was. It was it probably weighed 35 pounds or more, maybe 40, right?
Easy, yeah.
Easy, maybe more. Because
it's like it's a 3 to 4 cast iron skillets.
The guy who brought it in was like having to, carry it in because the belt was bigger than he was. You know what I mean? That was one of the funniest things. One of the funniest things. And then Aaron C came back with another one saying, "Book, is Vince cool?"
You know what? I've always had a great relationship with Vince McMahon, but he's always been the boss to me. I've never been one to mix business with pleasure or anything like that. Just say, for instance, your boss give you his personal phone number. Just a little bit of advice: don't ever use that number. Don't ever call. If you got to call him, you call him on his office number, or you wait on him to call you. Just because it's not a good thing, being cozy buddy with the boss, because the boss, may have to have someone tell you that you're no longer with the company anymore. And if you thought you were friends, buddy friends, it could be a big letdown for you. So I just think it's really, really important to keep that distance between yourself and your boss, no matter where you're working at, no matter where you are working at. You know what I mean? Because I watch cheaters, you know what I mean? Next thing you know, the boss is cheating with, somebody's wife, you know what I mean?
Right.
Because, you got too cozy, you know what I mean? So don't get too close with the boss. I don't know. How do you feel about that, Brad?
Yeah. I mean, especially if
it's a little bit different. I mean, because, but most of the times,
Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, obviously, you're the boss of Reality of Wrestling, and I talk to you pretty constantly, and I take advantage of that personal number that you gave me. But aside from that, I mean, no. But in other professional relationships I've been in, I've probably never called. If they call, I answer, but I never call.
Yeah,
But Vince seems like a guy that I don't know. I mean, I know there's the myth of Vince McMahon, but I just, from seeing that clip that we watched a couple weeks ago where he was showing Rob Gronkowski how to jump off and take the back bump, right?
Yeah.
That seems like a guy I want to work with.
No,
you know what I mean?
he's
Somebody's
always,
willing to do whatever.
man, he's always been one of action. He's been always a guy that I could take some examples from and literally use them in life. So, nah, man, I value everything that I've gotten from Vince. And even now to this day, when I see Vince, it's always a hug. I've been trying not to, run across him too much since the COVID thing broke out. But it's always respect. It's always a brotherhood, a kinship in a way, but still, being able to keep your distance from, like I say, not finding yourself in a position one day wondering, man, how the hell that happened? So I always looked at this thing like it's a job, like it's a business. I'm going to work, and if I see my boss, and no matter what job I'm at, it's always going to be business. I never call Eric Bischoff on the phone either. So it's just the way it is. Guys, stick around. You're in the Hall of Fame. We'll be back in a minute. Welcome back inside the Hall of Fame, guys. We're getting close, man. We're getting close. You say, Brad, you said you had some questions, man. You had some questions on that.
I do have some questions. I did want to ask you a couple more things real quick regarding what we saw in the NXT TakeOver. The one thing I really wanted to ask you, because I'm just over the moon about this, and so many wrestling fans are, is they announced last night that it's going to be the return of Halloween Havoc to the professional wrestling world. We haven't seen Halloween Havoc in what, 20 years? Yeah, I guess. It's been a minute, and it's finally returning as an NXT special. They did something similar with the Great American Bash, which was a WCW mainstay. Now we're having Halloween Havoc, hosted by Shotzi Blackheart, the ballsy badass, somebody who came through the World Gym Arena once or twice. And I think Tough Enough, as well as Tough Enough. And she's going to be the host of Halloween Havoc. But how cool is it for you to see Halloween Havoc back?
Nah, man, it's cool, man. And see Shotzi actually get the rub. It's really, really cool, too, to see her because, she wasn't one, that was immediately signed from Tough Enough. She had to go out on the independent scene and work. She created that whole gimmick on her own, the helmet and everything. That's all her, man. And I give her a lot of credit to find her way in this business because it really is so hard. So to have her hosting with the helmet on, with the horns, is definitely Halloween Havoc. It's definitely has that feel. Of course, WCW. It was one of WCW pretty much big four pay-per-views of the year. Halloween Havoc was, one of the big ones. And I always loved Halloween Havoc, but I wouldn't say it was my favorite pay-per-view back then with WCW.
What was it? What was your favorite then?
Well, my favorite
Halloween Havoc.
Favorite participating in was Sturgis, man.
Right.
Hog Wild. Hog Wild, the first Hog, not Road Wild, but Hog Wild.
Right, the first one.
The first one, man. As well as the Bash at the Beach. You know what I mean? Because you're going to be in Daytona, you're going to bikinis. I mean, that'd be the good life, man. You couldn't ask for a better life as a young man. I'm telling you, dog. So I think I remember that kind of stuff. And as far as, from a moment perspective, more than anything, because in Sturgis, man, you wouldn't believe it. Me and my brother, we was definitely two of the, few brothers that was there, but man, I swear, man, we had so much freaking fun. It was like like a party, like nonstop. And then to perform, in front of that crowd, it's just stupid crazy. And then, Bash at the Beach, those shows there again, we're in Florida, man. I mean, we're staying on the beach, our spring break, Panama City or something like that. Those are the times I remember more than anything in WCW, man, because it was a job, but like the military, it was an adventure. At the same time, man, because I was getting a chance to go all over the world and see some of the most amazing things that one young man could ever imagine, wish, or dream back then. Seriously.
Yeah, no, I mean, there obviously were a lot of great WCW pay-per-views. I know AEW did Bash at the Beach. I think, was it earlier this year or last year? But Halloween Havoc for me, and then you see this shot of Shotzi Blackheart. Look at that. I mean, it's just a great poster, right? And the old Halloween Havoc logo really gives you that nostalgia that we as wrestling fans sometimes really want to see. And I remember some great Halloween Havoc shows, right? Like Halloween Havoc 97 was when Eddie and Ray had their famous Cruiserweight Championship match. And then I think that, was it Halloween 90? The year after is the one where it was DDP and Goldberg knocked himself out, and then the pay-per-view cut early. You remember that?
Yeah, I remember that.
Pay-per-view cut off early. And they had to, I think, show the rest of it the next night on Nitro. But stuff like that is what I remember Halloween Havoc. And then the set. That's the thing. If they mess up the set for Halloween Havoc, wrestling fans are going to give it to the WWE. They're never going to hear the end of it, because that was one of the most iconic sets from WCW.
Yeah. That poster, I'm going back to that poster right there. Shotzi Blackheart is going to have that blown up. That's going to be something that she's going to. That's what I see when I see something like that. That's what I think about. I'm sure she's got that poster already, in her front room, blowing up, man. It's a symbol, man. It's a symbol saying, man, I actually did it. I mean, that's actually me. And there again, and I wasn't the winner on Tough Enough. I got kicked off. Just go to show you the perseverance, man, and the hard work that she put in to actually get to that point. And I got to say, man, I'm really, really proud of her. I ran into her at one of the independent shows maybe a year or two after Tough Enough. And I didn't even recognize her, because she had totally changed. She totally looked totally different. And her in-ring had totally improved. You could tell that she wanted it more than most, because to learn this, you got to put yourself in position to move up or to where somebody see you and say, okay, I can work with that right there. And for her to come off Tough Enough, like I say, to not be the one to get kicked off the show relatively fairly early, to make it says so much about her character. I give her most credit.
And even more than that, I remember when she did an interview with us on the old show, and that was when we had the Row on the Rise event at the World Gym Arena, and she said that I think she was actually was she medically disqualified for a heart condition back then, is what she told us. And she's now to overcome that as well, and be able to do what she still loves and rise to the level that she has. It's awesome to see her on NXT when she comes on that little tank. You know what I mean? She's driving a little tank. She's got the hat with the horns. I mean, the character is something that I could see that tank at WrestleMania, right? Where she drives a big tank into WrestleMania. She got all these other tanks, little tanks driving next to her, all wearing the little hat. I could see the entrance already. And I think that's also what the making of a good superstar. And that hair, man, that green hair, you as soon as you see it, you know who it is.
Yeah.
It's like your hair, right? As soon as you see it, you know that's Booker T.
Nah, man, she definitely have staked her mark in the business. And that's why, like I said, I'm just glad that she's doing good. Right now, RVD is, look like WWE is winning the race so far. I see WWE than AEW shots right there. So I don't know, man. If I was RVD there again, I'd say, man, let me try to go home here, man, and make this thing work and get up out of here the right way, get my Hall of Fame ring, because that right there, that's more money. That's more money once you get the ring. You're made, man. You're in the club. So, that's the way I see it.
So, real quick, breaking news that I want to get to, and then we have some questions to answer in the next segment, our last segment. But Kamaru Usman versus Gilbert Burns is now officially off for December 12th. It's not going to have. There is no rescheduled date at this time. Let me ask you this. Because after Colby Covington's win over Tyron Woodley, they're talking about Colby Covington versus Jorge Masvidal. And honestly, I know Leon Edwards is still somewhere in the mix, and he's ranked pretty high.
He's
but
not in
if
the mix.
Leon Edwards should be in the mix, but
he's not. Yeah,
they should be. But if
but
Colby and Jorge Masvidal happens, even though we've seen Masvidal and Usman both, Masvidal and Colby Covington both fight Kamaru Usman prior and both lose to him, would you have interest in, and say Gilbert Burns is just out completely, would you have interest in the winner of that fight facing Usman for the next title shot?
Who facing
Masvidal or Covington, the winner of that fight? Because that's what it looks like they're going to do next. They're going to do Masvidal and Covington.
Well, that's the fight I want to see. When I get the title shot, that's what I'd rather see. Honestly, because I think Masvidal deserved the shot at Usman more than Covington.
But he just had the shot.
Who's that?
Masvidal.
I mean, well,
a full camp though. You want him to have full camp.
Exactly. I mean, not only that. Kobe had, Kobe had a good fight with Usman. And then on the other hand, Street Jesus had a pretty good fight with him as well, fighting on a couple of weeks' notice.
Couple days, right?
If anybody's going to get a rematch, it would be him. So I say those guys fight each other. Let them fight. When they get the title shot. I mean, that's Leon Edwards. Of course, he's deserving of the shot, but there again, and don't get me wrong, but don't too many people care about Leon Edwards. That's his problem. All right, that's his biggest problem. Is he a top tier fighter? Of course he is, but no one cares about Leon Edwards. He's got that Tyron Woodley syndrome, and what I mean by that is, this is a guy that's going to have to slip on a banana peel and get the title and hold it hostage. You know what I mean? That's just the way I feel about a guy like Edwards, because he ain't going to just, they're not going to put him in position to get it. It's got to be a reason, somebody's got to drop out. He's got to be a last minute standby where they feel like he didn't train enough, and he may lose on that. But he's not going to be the guy that's in line to get the title shot traditionally, like most guys get the title shot. I could be wrong, but I feel like if I was wrong about it, he would have already have gotten a title shot.
Maybe you're right, Book. Maybe you're right. We got some questions to answer. We're going to have to do that on the other side, Book.
Stick around. You're in the Hall of Fame. We'll be back in a minute. Welcome back, guys. I'm about to wrap this thing up here in a minute, but we still got a little bit left. You say some questions have been coming through. People want to know what's what.
Yes, some questions have been coming through, and you know what? We might as well go to the first one from our guy who's been around all show. We got to really hype him up. Aaron C. Aaron C. again with another $10 super chat. You're our guy, Aaron. Big shout out to you. Big salute. He said, my last question, Book's thoughts on the NWO. Were they overrated? Now, I think this is an interesting question because the thing is the NWO now is over 20-something years old, right? So we have the benefit of hindsight. Were they overrated? I think that they really initiated change in professional wrestling. But now that we have that benefit of 2020 hindsight, that is, were they overrated or were they properly rated or underrated?
I think they were properly rated. I mean, the NWO, let's just think about it. Hall and Nash, with the addition of Hulk Hogan, who becomes Hollywood Hogan.
Yeah.
When the T-shirt was printed, they were selling like hotcakes. The Too Sweet, moniker that they had going was just something that was just over. The bad guys, being the good guys for once, the baby faces was turn tail and run because they were getting beat up every week. It was a cult, following down there for the NWO for a minute, man, because everybody wanted to be a part of it, wanted to be around it. They were sucked in, by the allure of the NWO, and it was amazing to watch it. So overrated, I think not. Just because, man, those guys, if they would have did that thing right, the NWO, I still feel like in 2020 could have the highest T-shirt revenue if the NWO would have been done properly. But I always say there again, the NWO was something that could have killed the business as well. I thought that way. I thought, no way do the cops supposed to be running from the robbers. I just didn't think that was a good scenario that would last for a lifetime. I thought it was something that could change the landscape of the way fans watch the wrestling business, because it's always been the good guys against the bad guys. And when the bad guys start winning, the good guys always figured a way out. But in this, episode here, the good guys just kept getting beat up. So I just thought it was a great idea, but I don't think, I think Kevin Nash had the wherewithal to come up with something and put a sticker name on it and try to create it. But the rest of those guys, not taking anything away from Scott Hall, cool, that's my people, but he was the guy that was the muscle behind the machine. Eric Bischoff, I didn't think he was the guy to come up with that great idea. I always say somebody slipped on a banana peel, and it turned out to be something really, really great. That's the way I always thought the NWO came apart.
So I definitely agree with a lot of that. And Aaron just sent in another question about the NWO, and we'll get to it after I ask you this. What was the reaction though backstage when NWO started to have their own show, like their own pay-per-view? Like, we're gonna do NWO sold out. And then I remember WCW used to sell these little VHS tapes that they would do on certain guys, right? They did like a little mini documentary about Macho Man Randy Savage. They did one about Goldberg. They did one about Sting or whatever. And the branding on it wasn't WCW Presents or anything. It was WCW NWO, right? I mean, that was how they were branding the company, as if it really were two different things. What was the reaction backstage? Did y'all think that this was a step in the right direction or the wrong direction when they started to do those NWO only shows?
You know what, man? I never really paid any attention to it because it had nothing to do with my bottom line. And so
I feel that.
No, I'm serious. I say, man, these guys come in, they negotiate their contract. I'm learning. I'm figuring this thing out as I go. But I never looked at it any other way than, man, these guys, they're getting over like Rover, bro. They got to be getting paid. You know what I mean? I'm trying to figure out how can I, finagle my way around some of that. They asked me to be a part of the NWO, and but I was like, nah, I'm a solo act, man. I just didn't want to be a part of a group. And by the time they asked me to be in it, I guess it was about, I don't know, maybe 6 people in it, maybe 5 or 6 people.
That'd have been the time to get in.
Well, it would have been the time to get in, but it was only going to go downhill from there. And I didn't have hindsight or anything. I didn't know it was going to grow to be something like that. But I just knew if I joined the NWO, we did, an abundance of house shows back then. Every weekend, we were on the road a lot of times, and I just felt like I would have been the NWO representative for the house shows.
Yeah. Aaron C coming in with more. First of all, he said we want Nate Diaz. I live in Stockton. He also said, hey, Book, my girlfriend doesn't believe I'm talking to you. But his last question was, Book, who was better, the NWO or D-Generation X?
Man, that's really, really a hard question, man, because DX did, they sold a lot of merch, man. They did a lot, for the company, as well as, get the people on the ride at that time, because there again, man, it was a war. It was a war going on. So DX did more than the NWO, especially from a longevity perspective, from a I wouldn't necessarily say a fan base perspective, because that T-shirt NWO,
right?
I see it on everything.
I think DX, though, they elevated more people who were in the group, right? I think that Billy Gunn, Triple H to an extent, Road Dogg, X-Pac.
But to go back to my point, DX didn't become an army. They were a faction. NWO became an army of guys that,
Good
a
point.
whole lot of guys didn't think were top guys. Had a bunch of guys that were in there that they just started filling spots. And then it got so big, it became NWO black and white, NWO red and black. And I'm like, what the hell is going on? They all had the same music. It was bound for disaster as far as that group went. But that's what DX, if NWO would have been like DX and had their, their 5 members, Conan, X-Pac, maybe Scott Norton for the muscle.
Right.
But when it started, expanding to, it had to be at least 30 guys in the NWO.
Oh, yeah, easily. Like I distinctly remember a shot on Monday Nitro where 3 limos pulled up. 3 in the backstage shot, and they were all in the NWO. Every one of them. It was crazy. You know what I mean? And then he had the NWO, the LWO, the Wolf Pack, the NWO Silver.
They had at least 30 guys in the NWO. And I was like, man, thanks, but no thanks, man. I'm glad. It was a great move for me, not ever being part of the NWO, actually, because I don't think I would have been getting any of the merch. I would have just been a part of the group. And it only been 3 guys getting real big checks, so I'm glad I cashed out on that one.
Nah, it worked out. We actually don't have time to get to any other questions. We're almost rolled out of here. But again, to my point, DX, I think, I was more of a WWE guy coming up, I will admit that. But I think that DX helped elevate those guys, and I think that your point was right, because there was only so few of them. You looked at them like they were bigger stars. Right, like I said, X-Pac, Billy, Road Dogg, China, Triple H on the way up, so it all helped. Aaron C again said,
man, big shout out to Aaron, man, coming from the 5-time champ. Hey, bro, we appreciate you, man. Everybody out there, man, just like Aaron C, man, help us out, man, to keep this thing moving, making it bigger and bigger and bigger. That's what
we're trying to get 400,000. We're almost there.
Yeah, we're so close to 400,000, man. I mean, what we need? What, 19,000?
Yeah, I think we need like 19. No, yeah, we need 18,500.
18,500 for our channel, man, our YouTube channel. So, guys, we appreciate y'all for sticking out, hanging out inside the Hall of Fame on a weekly. We'll be back Wednesday night, guys, and we got something special. I don't want to reveal it just yet, but we will reveal it sometime, probably about 10 a.m. Wednesday morning. But we got something special, big interview that's going down inside the Hall of Fame, guys. You do not want to miss out. Don't get shut up. Bradley, I appreciate you, dog.